Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cut to Hook movie night. I went and got comfortable. How is everyone doing? Get my project ready. My husband ran to Arby's to get us something to eat. So we are doing the fast food thing tonight. Hello, who do I have with me? Hello, Carrie. How are you doing? I've been trying to catch some videos on your channel this past week. I am doing great. I'm excited about tonight. Hey, Roseanne. Actually went and got comfortable and put some PJs on, put my hair up, although I think I'm going to pull it down because it is cold in here. Whoop, that looks awful. Sorry. Hey, Jen. I was laughing with my husband. I told him, Jen, I said, did we have pizza again last Friday night? And he said, no, we had salad. But before you came on, I was telling everyone he's run to Arby's to get us some fast food. So, which is something I don't eat a whole lot of, but I will be tonight. So did everybody get to watch the episodes this week? You get their wraps. I love their Reuben sandwich. But tonight I'm just getting a regular small roast beef sandwich. Wow. Get my notebook ready. I'm also still trying to work on that pocket shawl and create that pattern so I can do a tutorial on it. It has to be my own pattern for me to do that. So I am still playing around with that. Not right now, but the blanket in the first video, is that the blanket we are making or is it from the show? So Carrie, the blanket that was in the first video, I was just using it as a backdrop, so to speak, to show that the blanket we're going to create will be similar in the fact that it will change up all the colors. Hey, Grandma Anna. Hey, DJ. So the blanket we're doing, we're kind of, yes, we are glad to have you too, Grandma Anna. We're kind of making it up as we go, Carrie. But I am looking at various Navajo, Native American blankets and taking what I see and trying to put it on paper, if that makes sense. Like I'm looking at a picture and I'm creating how we can make what's in the picture, but in our own version, if that makes sense. So like I'm not copying anything from anyone other than looking at their picture and putting it together. If that makes any sense. kind of like my Elvis blanket. I looked at a picture and I'm creating it. So, and then of course the dice is determining like the color changes and the rows and all of that. So it'll be fun. And of course, everybody's blanket's going to look different depending on what their colors are and how they numbered them. So, so since you've only seen part one, like my first one was yellow. And I know Jen showed me a picture of hers, and her color was different starting off. So, everybody's blanket will be unique and fun. And for every movie series that we watch, we're going to try and create some kind of project with it. So, yeah, I hope that helps. Oh, sweet. Grandma Anna's first color was purple. Again, I do not take any credit for any of this. Bree from Bree's Little Corner is the one who came up with the idea of us doing this movie night. And Jen, it was all her idea of doing a project with it. And so, yes, these ladies are just brilliant geniuses. Because I am absolutely loving every minute of this. It is so much fun. I get to hang out with all my friends all Friday afternoon and evening, and then I get to get off of here and go hang out with my husband every Friday night. It is just like the perfect day. Friday is my favorite day. I would say it's also because it's the end of the week, but every other weekend it's not the end of the week. Sunday's the end of the week for me. But Friday is the only night that I have off both weeks every week. Although at work they did change our schedule and they put us working every other Friday, and I told them that I could not do that. And if that becomes an issue, then my husband and I have already talked and prayed, and I would unfortunately give a notice at the hospital and go apply to Hobby Lobby because they are hiring $13 an hour. That's more than I make at the hospital. Although I love what I do at the hospital, so I'm hoping that the schedule will be able to stay somewhat on the normal side. Oh, that's cool, Grandma Anna. Well, I hope she joins us. So, Carrie, I have heard that Longmire is amazing. And I have to admit, even though we're only in episode 6 and 7 for tonight, I am thoroughly enjoying this. And it's like the more episodes I watch, the more I want to watch. But I'm trying not to go ahead because I don't want to accidentally give something away. Oh, really? Bummer. That would be bad. I'll be honest, I had thought about even Michael's, Grandma Anna, but especially since they bought out AC Moore, because AC Moore was my go-to store. I miss AC Moore. However, the last couple times I've been in Michael's, they haven't had a lot of display of yarn, but nonetheless, I still walk out with something. Well, this past Tuesday, I actually went and had lunch with my oldest son and his wife and my youngest son. And when we were finished, I went over to Michael's to look for a couple things. I am working on making some stitch markers as part of my little love gifts from me for my shout outs for my subscribers when I draw their names. So I went to get some clamps, and then I went to get some little hooks to help hang the stitch markers onto my Joyful Creation cards when I send them. And do you know that is the first time I've ever walked out of Michael's and didn't buy one skein of yarn. Their shelves were practically empty, and most of the yarn that I get, they didn't even have. They had none of the cotton cakes. They had none of the Kai yarn. They had none of the feels like butter yarn. Only a very few selections of the Caron Simply Soft, which I've come to love. I was just like, what? I was shocked. But anyway, so, all right. Well, that just breaks my heart. Where are you at, Grandma Anna? Where do you live? If you don't mind me asking, you can just tell me the state. You don't have to tell me anything specific on here, but well, then I need a road trip to Ohio because our Michaels. Now, there's two other Michaels, and that was in Columbia, South Carolina, that I went to. So there's two other Michaels, and one is near where the old AC Moore used to be, and then there's one in Simpsonville. So Simpsonville and Greenville. And those two Michaels are probably literally about 10 minutes apart. So I may just have to take a trip. So Jen, you're in Ohio? I need to find my little notepad so I can. I think I wrote that down once before, Jen. That would be awesome. That is one thing the hubby and I do plan on doing. Okay. Is we are wanting to get one of those like 3-wheel motorhomes, whatever, and just pick up and travel. That is one thing I do miss from being a director of sales with the hotels is all the traveling. But the down part of that was I was always traveling by myself. Okay. All right, so let me jot this stuff down real quick, ladies, and then we'll get started. And I'm not promising, but maybe my husband will get on and say hello when he brings the food. He's really tired tonight, so he may not, but he has promised to get on here sometime. All right. Hey, Janice. Oh, I'm so glad to have you guys. All right. And Carrie, you were talking about not being able to start the blanket till next year. Love, I completely understand. You are busy, busy, busy. You guys go check out Carrie's channel. Okay. There's what I'm looking for. And then Jen said she was in. I know some of you guys have already gotten it, but while I'm on here, get out, Grandma Anna. Oh my gosh, I just love the Amish people. Did you get to see the dress that my friend from Virginia got me for my grandbaby that's Amish? Let me write down this other one real quick because I don't think I am subscribed to her Charmed Grammy Crochet. So I will have to go do that. So what is Carrie doing on Zoom, Jen? I do need to go to Joann's too. I haven't been there in a while. Making a trivet. Oh, wow. How cool. Janice, if you're talking about the Longmire blanket, it is something that we are creating as we go. So there is currently not a pattern. Oh, okay. Oh, yes, Jen. I did hear them talking about that. They did a special video. I did hear that her and Dana were doing this. I just love Miss Dana too. And Dooley. Let me go get this dress right quick. It's right here. I told y'all I got comfortable. I put my PJs on. So I turned this into a slumber party. All right. So this is the box it came in. But she said an Amish person made this. So here's the dress. It's getting wrinkled in that box, but and then that's the back of it. And then this is a little bib that goes with it. So it's waiting for her arrival. All right. I know. You ladies are ready to get started. Me too. These episodes were great. Especially 6. I really, really enjoyed 6. Oh, thank you, Roseanne. Thank you, Grandma Anna. All right. Let me grab my whip here real quick. I'm working on that hoodie for my daughter-in-law with these teal colors. All right, and here's the red notebook. I know it's pretty, isn't it? It's the wrapper is getting kind of beat up from carrying around in the bag, but it's Red Heart Super Saver Ombre, and it's in the color way Scuba. I don't know if that'll zoom in for you or not. Probably not. But anyway, it's real pretty. Variegated. And I just love the colors. I mean, you're right. It changes up. I've really come to love the Red Heart Ombre. But anyway. All right. So episode 6 was called The Worst Kind of Hunter. And so it starts off, and there's a woman. She's a little hysterical because she found something disturbing. What did she find? Yes, she found a dead body of a dead man, and there was a leg that was severed off of it and was pretty mauled up. What did and Ferg, he went to look for it after she told him where to go look. And what did he do when he saw it? Yes, Grandma Anna, he did. He had flank steak on him. He did. He puked. He threw up. And speaking of the flank steak, it was kind of funny how Walt just kind of took his knife and just flicked it open and picked it up with a knife. So yes, you guys are right. He threw up. So where was Vic sleeping when Walt called her? That's right. She was sleeping in the jail cell, which I thought was hilarious. So, um, so Vic and Walt go to see Lucian Connolly, which is Branch's uncle. How many men did Walt say Connolly had shot? So they've gone to where he's staying, and Vic is concerned because Walt says, "Don't tell him that I'm there. Don't tell him I'm here." And he tells her that he has shot so many men. Okay. Y'all are all very, very close. 10. How many women has he shot? That's right. He has shot none. I told you, Jen, sometimes I pick questions and make them easy, and sometimes they're hard. Until Vic. But he didn't shoot at her. What did he shoot? Gotcha, Jen. Yes, he shot the chair. Okay, so Jen, this is one of those questions. Did y'all catch what was his apartment number on the door? I don't know why, but they actually kind of zoomed into it. Roseanne got it. That's right, Roseanne. B211. Sweet. All right. So where is Lucian Connolly staying? It's not actually an apartment. And y'all are right. Senior living facility, assistant living retirement home. That is right. It is a retirement home. All right. What was the victim's name? Do you remember what his name was? Thank you. I told them you might say hello, but if not, we might see an arm.
Hello.
I told him you were tired. That's okay, Jen. I'm just happy you're here with us. Todd, they're saying hello. And Grandma Anna said, hello, Mr. Cynthia.
I'm rough, but
He peeked in. Oh, that's fine, Jen. I had some people before calling Mr. Joyful. He thought that was funny. So yes, you are correct, Roseanne. It was Ed Crawley. That would have been cool, though, if both of our husbands' names were Mike. So this is going back to the crime scene. What all did Vic find near the body? There were 4 things. You're good. Okay. It was a wallet. Roseanne, your answer actually is in the next episode. Yep. Sorry, I got my measuring tape to measure my piece. So it's a little bit loud. Sorry about that. There was flank on the body, but that wasn't it. She found the wallet, and then she found a bag, and the bag had 3 other items in it. There was a pipe. See if that gets y'all going. All right, Grandma Anna's got the third one. So there's a wallet, a pipe, crystal meth, and a lighter. Yep, Jen, you got it, the lighter. All right, how did Walt tell the lady to get in touch with Pete? So this is where they went to like the command center, and Pete is the one that's been tracking the bears. And she said that he was out. And Walt said, we'll use that fancy blank to get in touch with him. Yes, y'all are right. The satellite phone. Told her to use a satellite phone. All right. So now we have Lucian. He's at the jail, in the cell. And what did he tell Branch he lived in when he corrected him that it wasn't a retirement home, but a retirement blank? And he made a big deal out of it. So that's why I made this a question. It's not a retirement home, but a retirement probably felt like a prison, but that wasn't it. It was a retirement facility. So he told him, I do not live in a retirement home. I live in a retirement facility. So, all right. I'm going to ask y'all the next question, and I'm going to say a quick lesson after that. Let's see. What relatives was Crawley living with? See if you can tell me their name and their relationship to him. So who was Ed Crawley living with? Hey, Deborah. I'm so glad you're here. Yes, we are all loving Longmire too. So, who were the relatives that Ed Crawley was living with? Do you know their names and their relationship? All right, sorry. Had to say my blessing real quick. Roseanne got it. It was his brother-in-law and his sister. Any guess at what their names were? It was Pam. Let's make sure somebody won't answer him. Okay. It was Pam and Russell Gray. What was Henry cooking when Walt went to talk to him? This is at the fundraiser. Ah, shoot. I just told you the answer to the next question. It was burgers and hot dogs. And then, of course, the next question was, well, where was Henry? And he was at the fundraiser for Walt. I told you the answer. All right. So Walt hands Henry the piece of flank. And so the question is, Henry threw the meat Walt showed him on the grill. I just told you that answer too. And it was, what did Henry identify it as? Of course, we'd already talked about it some too, but flank steak. Okay. I'm just going to read my questions so I don't tell you the answers. All right. So Walt goes to the Red Pony to see, y'all are so funny, to see Omar. So what did Walt say to Omar when he found them at the Red Pony? As he's sitting down, he says something to him. He says, you're a hard man to find. Of course, if Walt carried a cell phone, he might be able to find them, right? So Walt commented on Omar about growing a beard. What did Omar tell him about the beard? Roseanne, you're on the right line. He told him it's a big look in Hollywood. All the actors have it. Where had Omar been that made Walt say he was a hard man to find? Where did he say he was? Well, thank you for joining us, Deborah. I can't tell if I have everyone. Okay. Okay. So, Roseanne, you said in the woods, and he was. He said that he was in the back country watching a bunch of rich guys pretend to hunt. So it sounds like they might have been up there filming a movie, was what I gathered from that. Sweet. I'm glad we're back together. All right. So Henry comes up to the table where Walt and Omar are sitting. Omar's eating, and Henry refills Omar's glass. And what two things did Henry ask Walt if he could get him? There are two things that Henry asked Walt if he could get him. I can't tell if I've lost everyone. So Jen, he did ask him if he could get him some coffee. And the second thing was a conscience. He said, "Can I get you some coffee and a conscience?" What does Walt want Omar to go find? Yes, he wants him to go find the bear. All right. This is going to be a complete the sentence. This is Henry talking. Henry says, kill the bear would be like keeping the wind from what? So killing the bear would be like keeping the wind from. Yes, Grandma Anna. Killing the bear would be like keeping the wind from blowing. So what deal did Omar make with Walt to track the bear? In order to go track the bear, Omar made a deal with Walt. He asked for something. What did he ask for? He told him he would go look for the bear on one condition. No, it wasn't not to kill the bear. Omar asked Walt for something. Yes, Jen. Jen got it. He wanted a deputy. And then, of course, the next question was, which deputy did he want? And Jen's got it. It was Vic, and he said, I want the feisty Italian. All right. So now we're at Pam and Russell's house. Yes, y'all are very right. He wanted Vic to go with him. Okay. So now we're at Pam and Russell Gray's house. And what did Russell, Ed's brother-in-law, lend him for the so-called interview? Yes. Grandma Anna and Roseanne, you are both right. He lent him the Tacoma truck. All right. What did Russell, this is Ed's brother-in-law, what did he give Walt? He went inside to get something. What did he go inside to get for Walt? Good job, ladies. He did. He went to go get him a copy of the vehicle registration. Now, when Russell was inside, Walt asked Pam, Ed's sister, if Ed had any enemies. Russell walked out and said, what about who? Who did he give Walt an idea would have been an enemy of Ed's? I'll give you a hint. It's the parents of somebody. Y'all are right. The parents of the girl that he killed. All right. So now we're back at the police station, and Lucian, Branch's uncle, is in the jail cell, and Branch comes walking in. What did Branch bring his uncle? Roseanne got it, and I love the picture. That's right. And Grandma Anna. He brought him tacos. What is the bear's name? The bear has a name. What is the bear's name? It is Waffles. I was trying to understand. Grandma Anna, you said $16 bucks worth. Oh, you're right. You were really looking at details. Good job. Y'all are doing amazing. All right. That's right. Of tacos. You're right. What is the bear wearing? The bear is wearing something. What is it? You are correct. A tracking collar. All right. So now y'all are on target. You've got it. A tracking collar. So now we're at the home of the girl's parents that Ed killed. What was the name of the girl he killed? It was Blair. Her name was Blair. Close, Grandma Anna. Not a P, but a B. It's all right. You guys are doing amazing. All right. How did Ed kill her? You're so right. He stabbed her. Do you know how many times he stabbed her? Roseanne got it. 12 times. Very good. Excuse me. What do Blair's parents do every year on her birthday? Todd. I don't think he can hear me. I think he's got headphones on. I did. Did you get any Arby's sauce? Okay. Can you get me some mustard then? It wasn't a party. Grandma Anna has it. Had a painting picture of her every year. Yes, of what she should look like. I love you guys. You're making this so much fun. All right. So when Walt told them that the bear had killed Ed, what did Blair's mom say the bear should get? No. You're very close, Grandma Anna. A medal. She says that bear should get a medal. A steak. Good answer, Jen. All right. What happened to Vic while she and Omar were looking for the bear? It should have been steak, Jen. But she said he should get a medal. But he should have gotten steak. You were just guessing. You're right, ladies. She got shot with a dart. And yes, Grandma Anna specifically a tranquilizer gun. Good job. Um, who shot her? Am I lagging maybe? She doesn't have the answers or the questions, I promise. Roseanne, you've got the right answer. Jen, you've got the right answer. It was Pete. And Pete was not the guy that was taking care of Waffles. Um, Grandma Anna got that one. Pete was like the vet that they went to. So y'all are all right on Pete because it was Pete. All right. Did he shoot her on purpose? Y'all are all right. Yes, he did. And you're right, Roseanne. He said no, but he did because he was trying to keep them from getting the bear. What did Vic say when Walt asked her how she liked her first hunting trip? This answer is actually funny. Y'all, excuse me for just a minute. Todd.
Yeah.
Since they didn't give you any sauce, can you bring me some mustard? Thank you. She said this wasn't in the brochure. I thought that was funny. Now, Jen, you're funny. No, there was not mustard in the show. They didn't give him any sauce. And I can't just eat this plain roast beef sandwich. I'm not a big bread eater to start with, so. But you're funny, Jen. My humor girl. Oh no, I need it just to put on the sandwich. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of dry.
I was gonna dip it.
All right. So yeah, I thought that was funny. She said, no, this wasn't in the brochure. All right. What did Blair's parents, they're called the Craigs, come to the hospital to do? So Blair is the dead girl, and her parents, what did they go to the hospital to do? Oh, now horseradish would be really good, Roseanne. I didn't think about mayo. That would have been good too. So yes, they went to see Crawley's body to identify it, because Mom, probably more so than Dad, wanted to make sure it was really him. This is what I found interesting for Blair's mom, which, let's face it, I've never lost a child. I've never had a child murdered, but I thought it was recent. How many years has Blair been dead? Double your answer, Jen. Ah, Roseanne got it. Ding, ding, ding. Yay, Roseanne. She had been dead 20 years. Yes, Jen. 20 years. What did Donna, Blair's mother, do when her husband and her went in and identified the body? What did she do to the body? Oh, hey, Wendy. I'm so glad you're here with us. That's right, ladies. She stabbed him with the scissors. And I'm not sure, but she might have been going for the same 12 times that he stabbed her daughter. She was just a going, too. All right. So when Walt and Branch and Ferg and Vic and all them go to the meth house, how many men in the house? Hey, Viola. Oh, it's so good to have everybody with us. Very good, Grandma Anna. There were 3. You had it right. It was 3. What did Ferg say the house smelled like? They were back at the police. Yes, Grandma Anna got it. They were back at the police station, and Ferg said the house smelled like a wet diaper. Good job, Roseanne. All right. Who did one of the guys, now these are the guys that ran out of the house, who did one of them say gave them Ed's brother-in-law's truck? Who'd they say gave him the truck? Jen, I'll be honest, I didn't catch him saying 20 dirty diapers. I just heard him saying it smelled like a wet diaper. It was not Ed. I'll give you a hint. It's someone that comes around on a very special holiday. Yes. Good job, Jen and Roseanne and Grandma Anna. It was Santa. He said Santa gave him the truck. All right. Whose house did they say they were in? All right, Grandma Anna, you are correct. But before we get that far, they said it was a guy named Patches. Why did he have the nickname Patches? I know Anna's doing great. Roseanne's got it. Good job, Roseanne. Woo, 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 woo. Jen. Jen says he had patches on his pants. Y'all are right. He wore a lot of nicotine patches. Do you remember what Patch's real name was? I'm not going to lie to y'all. Sometimes I had to rewind and rewind and rewind to catch some of this stuff. Yes, y'all are all doing so well. I need to stop rewinding. Roseanne, you are very close. You got the first name right. Sharp, something the guard. It was Greg Pearson. So now, going back to Anna, who actually owns the house? Her name is Amy Stonecipher. What other property does she own? And Grandma Anna's got it. She also owns the retirement facility that Lucian was at. All right, so now we're back at the police station. Now remember, Lucian has been in the jail cell, but now Walt has all these meth guys in the jail cell. So the question is, what did Lucian say about the men in the jail cell? He was kind of pestering Walt, and Walt was trying to tell him to kind of go away, and he made a funny comment. I do love all the underlying humor that are in these episodes. Horse in prison. Anybody else got a guess? He said there were hippies in his guest room. All right. What did the guys in the jail cell eat? Okay, Wendy. Well, thank you for joining us. Stay safe. Yes, Anna. They ate greeting cards. Why did they eat the greeting cards? They grabbed them from Ferb. Why did they eat them? You're right, Roseanne. They were laced with meth. Meth was printed on them. That's correct, Anna. All right. So if you remember back in the beginning, when they were looking at the dead body, there were these unusual like indentation hole marks on the body. Do you know what those injection marks were made from? Oh, let me know when I'm back. Sweet. Yes, Roseanne. Good job, Anna. It was a tranquilizer gun darts. What was the response that, sorry about that. What was the response that Gary Stonecipher kept giving Walt to every question he asked him? Every time Walt would ask him a question, he'd give the same answer over and over. What was the answer? Okay. Thank you, Jen. Tell me when I'm back. You're correct, Roseanne. He kept saying lawyer, 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 lawyer. Where did Walt take the bear? When he figured out that the guy, I think his name's Owen, was that tracks the bear, he figured out that he had him because he was able to identify whether or not the bear had eaten any human flesh. So Walt knew that he had the bear. So where did Walt take the bear? Y'all are both correct. He was the previous warden, and his name was Dan. Took him to his house. And from that, who did we learn actually killed Ed Crawley? Yes, Jen, all of y'all are doing a good job. Correct. It was Dan. How did Walt get him to admit that he had killed Ed? Hey, Judy. Thank you for joining us. Good job, Viola. He threw that big flank steak of beef on to Dan's shirt, if you remember, and it hit, and it just splattered all over his shirt with blood. And as the rest of you are saying, he threatened to let the bear out to unlock the cage. So Dan had two requests then. He requested two things from Walt. What was one of the two things? I'm gonna go for both answers, but and again, one of these answers, it just the humor in this show is just phenomenal. All right. I'll give you a hint on the first request. He told him to let somebody go because they were actually innocent. Do you remember who it was? All right. Oh, no, no, no. All right, well, let me know when I'm back. Todd. Okay. I just realized I'm not hooked up to my Ethernet cable. Hopefully we'll stay together. I forgot the question. Oh, so the first request was to let Gary go, that Gary was innocent. And the second one, he said to make sure, and he listed an actor's name, played him in the movie. Who did he ask Walt to get to play him in the movie? Because he just assumed that they would make a movie of all this. And he told Walt he wanted a specific actor to play his part. That's right. He wanted Tommy Lee Jones to play his part. I thought that was funny. What did Walt end up doing with Waffles the bear? I will tell you, I love Tommy Lee Jones as an actor. He plays in some good parts and some good movies. Yes, Anna. He let Waffles go free. Told him to behave and not to eat anybody. All right. So that wrapped up episode 6. And episode 7 was called 8 Seconds. And we don't have as many questions. All right. At the very, very beginning of the episode, there was a call for a break-in in a house. And it was asked, why couldn't they send... Good night, Anna. Thank you for joining us. It has been great. He is a good actor, Roseanne. Sweet dreams, Anna. So they were asking where Branch was and why he couldn't go to the break-in. But why couldn't Branch go to the break-in? What was Branch doing? Why couldn't he go to the home break-in or home invasion? Where was Branch? Very close, Jen. He was working a speed trap in another county. When Walt walked into the home, He saw two things. What did he see? There was two things on the floor. Roseanne, the belt and buckle were the second thing that he saw. He saw something before he saw the belt buckle. Jen, let me know when I'm back. Roseanne, the shot prod comes into play a little bit later on. The first thing he saw ends up helping him identify the killer later on. It was a footprint. He saw a footprint. All right. Correct, Roseanne. It was a boot print. Why was the dead man's wife out of town? She was in Manchester doing something. She owns a small art gallery, and they were doing their opening night, the night that he was attacked. Oh, I apologize, Roseanne. I just told the answer. So the question was, why was the man's wife out of town? Why was the man that was attacked? Why was his? And you're right, Roseanne. The art gallery. She owns an art gallery, and they had opening night for one of her collectors. What did the nurse say about Mr. Sublet? Mr. Sublet is the guy that was attacked. What did she tell Walt about him? She told him that he was in a coma. What does Chris Sublet do? What was his occupation? The guy who was attacked, his name is Chris Sublet. What did he do as an occupation? Rodeo promoter, bronco rider. Okay. He was a distributor. Do you know what product he distributed? He was a beer distributor and he sponsored the rodeo riders. The sock item. Shock. Okay. All right. Do you remember who his top rider was that he recently dropped and they suspected had attacked him? Roseanne, I think you have mental telepathy. I think you can see my book. His name was Levi Giggs. Oh, you were very close, Roseanne. Very close. Why do you think he was beaten? Now we're talking about Mr. Sublet. Why did he get beat up? What was missing in their home? Good job, Viola. Yes, Roseanne. It was a painting. Do you remember what it was a reproduction of? Good job, Jen. Yes. What was the painting a reproduction of? Good job, Jen. It was. It was Custard's Last Stand. In the end, was it really a reproduction? You're right, Viola. No. Good job, Jen. It was the original. All right. Walt made a comment about the beating. He said that it was more emotional. It was more of an emotional beating than it was what? Do you remember? Walt said the beating was more emotional than it was. Walt said it was more emotional than it was an actual burglary. So, in other words, he felt like the beating was more about a more personal level than it was over just the stealing of the painting. All right. Whose alibi did Walt ask Ferg to check on? He's trying to follow up to see who actually beat Mr. Sublet up. And so he asked Ferg to follow up on a particular person's alibi. Do you know who it was? Whose alibi? Good job, Viola. It was his wife. He asked Ferg to follow up on the alibi for his wife. And it turns out that her alibi was legit. And her name was Julia Sublett. All right. Who did Walt find in his truck? When he went to get in his truck, somebody was in the back seat. Who was it? I was going to say, Jen, you've kind of, yep. It was a clown, and his name is Bob. It was Bob the rodeo clown was in Walt's truck. So Vic gets called away to this house break-in, and her husband's in town, and he now shows up to the scene of the crime. And the question is, where did Vic's husband ask Walt if he could take Vic? He said, "Can I please take my wife to go where?" Yes, Roseanne, it was clown for the rodeo. His name was Bob. Where did Vic's husband ask Walt if he could take Vic? It wasn't home. You're on the right track, Jen. It wasn't dinner, but it was breakfast, because it was in the middle of the night. He's like, "Can I please take my wife to go get breakfast?" All right. I'm laughing at this one because of Jen telling me not to rewind. I did not rewind on this one. I just happened to catch it as it was doing a panoramic. What business had a banner on the inside of the arena at the rodeo? There was a banner that was hanging on the inside, and as it kind of just did a panoramic shot, there was a business that had their name on a banner. It wasn't McDonald's. I'll give you a hint. It's an insurance company, a car insurance company. That's a good guess, Roseanne, especially for a rodeo. But it was not Budweiser. They have commercials about Jake from, you got it, Roseanne, and you got it, Jen, State Farm. Good job. It was State Farm. What did Walt ask Branch to do with the bucket of water? They're still at the rodeo, and Walt asked Branch to do something with a bucket of water. You're right, Jen. Good job, Roseanne. To pour it out on the dirt. And you're right, Viola. So that leads into the next question. Why? Why did he want to pour water over the dirt in the walkway? Good job, Jen. He wanted to get a boot impression because this was Levi. They thought that this was Levi, or Levi had done this. That's right. They were trying to get Levi to step in it so they could get a boot impression. So after they talked and Branch and Levi shook hands and Levi stepped forward and left the boot print, he finally turned away and said he had to go because there was something that had his name on it. So what did Levi say had his name on it? Good job, Jen. A belt buckle. In other words, he wanted to get in the rodeo and earn his title through the belt buckle. All right. Who did Walt run into at the rodeo? We originally met her last week. Y'all are right. It was Lizzie Ambrose, the lady that was flirting with him. What did Branch say to Walt was a new invention? Branch was kind of making fun of Walt. Because Lizzie said that Walt called her and hung up. And he was denying it. And Branch said, good job, Jen. Caller ID. That she knew he called because she had caller ID. Yes, yes. All right. All right. So now this is going back to Mrs. Sublet, Julia Sublet, who was out of town at her art studio. And the question is, who did the waiter at Julia Sublet's hotel say he served dinner to besides her? There was another person in her hotel room, and he said he served dinner to her and who? Good job, Jen. He said her husband, but we know it wasn't her husband because her husband got beat up. So who does Vic think Julia is sleeping with? Jen, you got it right. It was Branch. Yes, Roseanne, it was Branch. Vic thinks that Julia is sleeping with Branch. So now Walt is questioning Branch because now they're suspecting that Branch is actually sleeping with Julia. And so Walt asked him who he's sleeping with, and Branch isn't answering. And Walt told Branch it was his what to tell him who he was sleeping with. Walt told Branch it was his blank to tell him who he was sleeping with. Yes, Jen, it was his duty. He was obligated because of the case. Did Branch tell him who he was sleeping with? No, he didn't. But y'all remember who he's sleeping with, right? Okay. All right. Who did Walt tell Branch were the only two people who could have told him that he was drunk at the crime scene? So remember, Walt had been drinking, and Vic came and picked him up and was taking him home when they actually got the call. Which I just realized that's a glitch in the show because Vic was actually at her house with her husband when she first got the call. But in this section, it said that she was with Walt when she got the call. But anyway, who did Walt tell Branch were the only two people who could have told him that would have known that he was drunk at the crime scene? That's right, Jen. Vic and Julia Sublette. Who did Branch tell? Oh, who did tell Branch about Walt drinking? Because it wasn't Vic and it wasn't Julia Sublette. But who did? Who told Vic? I mean, who told Branch that Walt was drinking? That's right, Roseanne. Good job, Jen. It was Branch's dad. His name is Barlow. So, who is sleeping with Julia? Good job. Yes, Barlow. Barlow is sleeping with Julia. All right. So we now know that the portrait, the painting, is not a reproduction. It is the real deal. Do you remember how much they said it was worth? Good job, ladies. They said it was between 300 and 400,000. All right. So now there's another moment between Vic and Walt, and it's kind of a tender moment. So what did Walt confess to Vic? What did he tell her about his relationship with his wife? That's right, Roseanne. Good job, Janice. Hey, Janice. Yes, that he had cheated on his wife. And so Vic was questioning of him if that's why he was drinking out of guilt. All right. What did the nurse, and this is kind of going back to the hospital, what did the nurse tell Walt could have actually caused Chris Sublet's coma? And you guys were given this answer early on, especially you, Roseanne. What did the nurse say could have actually caused Chris Sublet to go into a coma? Yes. Good job, Janice, Roseanne, and Jen. You're so right. Electric shock from the cattle prod. So Walt, in his crazy self, asked somebody to help shock him. Who did he ask to help shock him? Good job, Jen. He did. He asked Henry to do it. And yes, Janice, it was the bartender. It was Henry, his best friend. So what did Henry end up saying to Walt? Walt, let's see. What did Henry tell Walt he used to be? He said, Walt, you used to be a lot of what? That's right, Janice. Good job, Jen. He told him that he used to be a lot of fun. All right. So back on Levi. He's in the rodeo rink. He's getting ready to do a run. And there's all these sponsors that were looking on. And Walt was going to arrest him, told him to get off. And he begged Walt to let him stay and finish it out. So the question is, what was Levi trying to get a check for? What was he so desperate to get a check for? Why did he need that money? Yes, for child support. Because if he didn't pay the child support, he wouldn't get to see his daughter. And what was Walt's response to him? He told him he had what? Yes, exactly what our show was named after. He says, you've got 8 seconds. All right. Again, here's another one of those. Good night, Judy. Thank you for coming and spending time with us. So we have 4 questions left, ladies. So we're getting close to the end of our evening. What did Levi, and again, this is like another one of those kind of humor responses. What did Levi say to Walt about the painting? He said, what would I do with a painting? And then he gave an answer. So let me say it again. What did Levi say to Walt about the painting? He said, what would I do with the painting? As a question mark. And then he also gave an answer. And what did he say about it? What did Levi say to Walt about the painting? What would I do with the painting? Well, that's true, Roseanne. Henry pointed out that the war wasn't even on the right side of the river. But when Walt was asking Levi if he took the painting, and he said, what would I do with the painting? Write a poem about it? I thought that was funny. All right. So the rodeo clown Bob is the one who actually leads us to the person who assaulted Mr. Sublett, Chris Sublett. And he gave Walt a clue. He said he saw a truck and he saw it moving something from the truck bed to another truck. So the question is, what did the rodeo clown Bob say he saw? Excuse me, where did the rodeo clown Bob say he saw the saying, bronc riders do it in 8 seconds? Yes, they were transferring dry. He said they were transferring drywall from one truck to the other. And yes, Jen, you are correct. On a bumper sticker. And of course, that bumper sticker is on the truck that was seen coming from Chris Bartlett's house. Whose truck had the bumper sticker on it? Which is also our assailant. Yes, Jen, the truck belonged to the vet. His name was Dennis. He was the owner of the truck. But is he the one that attacked Chris Bartlett? No, he did not. Good job, Janice. Good job, Jen. No, and that was the last question. Who hurt Chris Sublett? And it was Dennis's son, Zach, who was following his dad because his mom and him believed that he was having an affair. All right. So that finishes up our 2 episodes. So next week, we will look at 8 and 9. And then the next week we come together, we'll do, after we do 8 and 9, we'll do the last episode in season 1, which is episode 10. And then we'll catch the first episode of season 2. So anyway, so that is our Q&A time. Anybody have any questions about the blanket or anything before we go? I know there's been kind of a little bit of a talk about it. Yes, Jen, thank you. Great job, everyone. Another successful, fun night. Yes, Roseanne, I look forward to this. I know, Jen. And y'all, I was so tired when I did that video. It was so funny. I was actually sitting at work and I was replaying things in my head. And I was like, when I rolled that die and it landed on 5, I said, oh, and we got the max. There's a 6 on the dice. But hopefully nobody caught that. And I just told on myself. This was fun, Viola. I am thoroughly enjoying this. You saw that, Roseanne? You caught it too, Jen? You guys, I do. I come home after working 12, 13 hours sometimes and go straight into doing those videos. Yeah, there's a 6 on the dice. So 6 will be the maximum amount of rows that we could do in a week, and 1 would be the minimum. But that's okay because hopefully everybody is working on. Well, you guys are so gracious and so kind and so forgiving. I appreciate it. Hey, if I can't laugh at myself, then who can I laugh at, right? And there's lots of blunders. I have lots of blunders. But hopefully you're able to still work on all your other, whips while we're doing this. And then, of course, with there being 6 seasons, sometimes if we do only have 1 or 2 rows in a week, that's cool. But like you, Jen, I get anxious that I'm trying to design. I've had to frog it a couple times. And of course, I had to frog the Elvis blanket. And that Elvis blanket is still a work in progress, but I'm really pleased and excited about it. Well, Deborah, the good thing about the Longmire blanket is we're doing only a few sections or a few rows every week. And like we were talking about, we're rolling a die to kind of make it more fun and creative. So the maximum amount of rows that we would end up doing in 1 week would be 6, and the minimum amount of rows would be 1. So that will help, because if there are some weeks where you get behind, or you've got other projects you got to work on or pay attention to, or just life in general happens, then on those weeks where we only have 1, 2, maybe 3 rows, you can stay caught up. But please feel free to send me pictures of your blanket as you go along in my email, and maybe in a little bit we can, do a video where everybody can see everybody's blankets, and how even though the stitches are worked the same, the colorway is different. That's what's going to be fun and exciting, is to see the colorway on everybody's blanket. So, but again, hats off to Bree from Bree's Corner for coming up with the movie night idea, and to Jen Reeves for coming up with the project idea. You ladies are amazing. I will tell you this. The only time I will re-roll on something is if, for example, when we're doing the colorway. If we roll a colorway and the next week we roll the same colorway, we will roll again, because the whole point is to make sure that the color is changing. So we don't want to duplicate the same color. But otherwise, that will be the only time I re-roll, Jen. And I know. But some weeks where we're only doing 1 row, that will give me time to get the creative juices flowing. Although right now, well, I'm not going to tell you how far I am, but it's looking good. I know that's not fair. Is there a color chart? No, there's not. Let me grab my little bag here. So what we did, Deborah, is I got my food here in the way. I never eat a full meal. What? I love you, Jen. So, Deborah, what we did is everybody picked 12 colors. And it was any 12 colors that you wanted, whether it was from your stash or if you went out and bought special yarn for this. It's entirely up to you. But everybody picks their own 12 colors. And then, like, I took a card and I numbered 1 through 12. And then, to make it fun for me, I laid my 12 colors out, and I had my husband hand me a color. And whatever he handed me, I filled it in that number spot. So, for example, for me, my number 1 is like the beige buff color. And this is it here. And then I also did this. I took a stitch marker and I put another card on it, and I put the color it was and the number that it is, so that I have that when I'm working. And then my number 2 color is this minty green. Although it looks like a baby blue. Well, it actually looks minty green tonight. Before on my video, it looked kind of like a light blue. And then my 3rd color ended up being cherry red. And my 4th color is Carrot. I do love you, Jen. My 5th color is Patty Green, and I'm using some of my scraps. I have 3 cakes that I made up from scraps. So I have lots of that. And anyone who's been following me, it's left over from the hoodie that I made my youngest son. And then my 6th color is Peach. And I have 4 skeins about this size of the peach. And then my 7th color is this real teal. Now that doesn't look teal on your camera, but I promise you it's a real pretty teal. It's like a deep, dark teal. Then my 8th color, which is the color that we did, and I'll show you that in a minute, is yellow. I have short arms, sorry. So it was bright yellow. And my 9th color is black. And my 10th color is navy blue, and I have several of these cakes as well. My 11th color is white. And then my 12th color is purple. My cake is coming undone, but so I had this dark purple, but just in case I end up running out because that's not quite 7 ounces, I will then throw in this lavender just so I'm using some of my scraps. But that's my 12 colors. And so for part 1, which aired this past Monday, the dice rolled the number 8. And for me, my number 8 color was the bright yellow. And then this is what we've worked up so far. Actually goes this way. Yeah, like this. So this is the first part of the blanket. Now, throughout the blanket, we'll try to do textured stitches like we did with this combo, but sometimes they won't be necessarily textured. Like there's a couple rows that will be just single crochets to kind of help break it up a little bit and also give it that quick color change. So a lot of times, probably if we roll like a 1 or a 2, that's what it'll be. And I know, Jen, that's probably a but yeah, because we don't want to use always the big stitches like the double crochets and the triple crochets, because we don't want the blanket to, you know, fill up fast. So we want it to be a process that lasts us throughout the course of our Longmire movie series, but also we want it so that the color changes can happen frequently. So anyway, it's a work in progress. So, but I actually have through, I'm currently working on the part 4 stitches right now. I've got it written on a notebook. But anyway, but I appreciate y'all's enthusiasm, Jen. So yes, I'm hoping that the blanket will stretch out, us making it throughout the 6 seasons. And that's why I went down from 2 dice to 1 dice, because there could have been some weeks we could have been doing up to 12 rows. And I'm going to be honest with you too. it would have been very hard for me to do that, plus keep up with everything else, plus my job. So, because obviously anything that I'm doing on it, for the most part, I have to record, and I wouldn't be able to do that at the hospital. And on my long weeks, I very seldom do anything but sleep and go to work. Those long weeks are rough. I know, Jen. But it is exciting. So, and there will be some weeks that the stitches might be challenging, but I promise that we'll work through it. And I promise that either in the tutorial or in an additional tutorial, I will go through it slow enough that everyone can successfully do it. Gotcha, Jen. Oh, you're welcome, Janice. I mean, honestly, the blessing is mine. Um, Deborah, I only requested to do the 7 ounces because, I mean, 7 ounces holds a lot, and with 12 different colors, you're still gonna have yarn left over, because we're trying to do this about a full size blanket, so that it's big enough, for on the couch. It's a little bit, we want it bigger than a lapghan, but not necessarily a queen or king size. So we're doing it about a full size, and 7 ounces would be plenty. Like I said, with 12 colors, you're more than likely going to have a little bit of yarn left over. That's why if you've got some scrap yarn, you can try to do it. And let's just say, for example, like my blue here, which I happen to have 4 skeins or capes that I've made up from leftover navy blue yarn. Let's just say this wasn't enough, but I've got some light blue scraps on my shelf. Then I would then substitute that light blue. But I'm trying not to necessarily do that either, if it makes sense. I want to try and keep it the same, but definitely use some scraps up. And the great thing about something like this is there's no right or wrong way. It's all fun, and I'm honestly excited to see the variety. Like, this blanket won't be a certain colorway. It's going to be different. And I mean, you're welcome to mix up your yarn weight. You just have to be careful that if you do that, that it's not, pulling the stitches really tight, that it kind of buckles. And then you have to be careful that on the bigger, if you use a bigger weight yarn, that it's not too loose and making it flimsy. So that's why I did mention maybe sticking with, a medium 4 weight acrylic yarn through the whole thing. But some of you are more seasoned than I, and you could pull that off. So I just want to make sure that everybody's blanket comes out and they're satisfied. Oh my gosh, Deborah, that's exciting. You're making it for your daughter. She's a Longmire fan. Well, this is cool. And then when we're done, everybody can go on like Facebook or whatever and post their blanket. That would be fun. And that's something I'm thinking about. Well, I have a Joyful Creations Facebook page, and it's a business page. And the only thing on that page is strictly, my yarn stuff. So I might check into what it takes to actually, I don't know the word I'm looking for. Oh, that's good. Variegated in ombre yarn, that would be amazing. Oh my gosh, that would, oh, your blanket will be beautiful. And I thought about that, but I really, all of this yarn came off my wall. So I didn't want to buy anything new. But for the next blanket that we do for the midwife series, yeah, I haven't seen the pattern on that. I haven't seen any colorway on it, but I can guarantee you that I am going to buy some new yarn. But that ombre and that variegated, oh my gosh, that's going to even give it so much more character, I think. That's going to be awesome. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, but I'll have to check into Facebook and see, you know how you can have like a, kind of like a closed group kind of thing? And that way that channel is strictly just, you know, my crafty friends. And that way we could go on there and post like our pictures and stuff if you wanted. So, and share stuff like that. That would be awesome. If that's something that y'all would be interested in, I will check into that. Well, what colors did you pick, Jen? Are all yours solid or? And I meant to make the suggestion, you know, somebody could only pick 6 colors and, you know, let 1 and 6 be the same color and 2 and 7 and 3 and 8 and so forth. You know, that still would even make a pretty blanket. Okay. Well, thank you for that feedback, Jen. I will be honest with you, when it comes to Facebook, I will go look at my notifications to see who's got birthdays coming up, and I'll go wish them a happy birthday. But other than that, the only other thing I do on Facebook anymore is posting my videos and pictures of things that I make, so that my family, especially like my brother started crocheting after I started learning, and he and I are like best friends. And he's in Arizona. My son's in Arizona. He's in Alabama. And so I will put stuff on there so that he can see it. But other than that, I don't really spend a whole lot of time on Facebook. And I do have a Twitter account and an Instagram account. But the only thing that I really put on them are my yarn and my crafting stuff. The only reason I even have a Instagram account is every year I go to a conference called Women of Joy. And my girlfriend and I like to post pictures, because if we post it on our Instagram account, then it has the chance of ending up on the main screen that they do on the stage. And so that's how that even began. And then Twitter, I didn't start Twitter until I started my YouTube channel, after I started my YouTube channel. And that is very, very true, Jen. If you use like a number 2 weight, you could use 2 strands of something to make it like a variegated yarn. That's a good suggestion. Because actually, when we get to the point that we make a basket on Wednesday on the Hook, that's what we're going to do. Is we're going to crochet with 2 strands to give it that solid, sturdy shape. Yeah, that variegated combo with those solid colors, it is going to pop. It's going to be phenomenal. That's going to be gorgeous. Yes, Deborah, Jen, that was a very good idea about the 2 yarns to equal the 4 weight. Because honestly, something like that purple yarn, oh, actually, I was showing it on the conversation video. I think I've already put it away. I did. That I made the baby bib and stuff out of. That would have been pretty in my blanket. Oh well. Now it's going to be bibs and booties and hats for my soon-to-be grandbaby. All right, ladies. This has been fun. I have thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed this as always. So, any other questions about the blanket before we go? I would actually love to do that, Jen. In fact, one of my questions that I have, and I've been kind of holding off on it for Cup to Hook conversation, is what do you put your whips in? And then when you travel, whether it be to grandma's house or, you know, going to visit my sister or whatever, what do I carry my whips in? And so I've been holding off on that, but that would be a good time for us then to do that as a project. So yes, I actually have that written in my project book, but I'm going to write it here and put your name by it, Jen, so I know that you are interested in that. And who knows, if we can't come up with something for one of the series we're watching, maybe that's even something we can do, is work on that bag. So, all right. Anybody have any other questions? That too, Jen. See, y'all are full of just wonderful ideas. Jen's on a roll tonight. Sorry, my brother-in-law came in and the dogs must have gotten startled. Well, I just appreciate your enthusiasm because I'm excited. And if I didn't have you guys to bounce off of, then I don't know, it would be awkward to be this excited about something and not have anyone to share it with. Yes, it has been, Deborah. All right. Well, I am going to tell you ladies good night as well. This has been fun. And now I'm going to go until we fall asleep, which may be soon, and spend some time with my husband. So I know if we try to watch a movie of any kind, we both will end up asleep. In fact, I literally have not been to bed since 4:30 yesterday afternoon. That was not my intention. I was working on those baby hats and stuff, trying to finish up that scrap yarn from the Crochet Society boxes. And then when I got ready to go lay down, that's when I ended up taking my elderly friend to the grocery store to get groceries. And then by the time I came back, I did lay down for about 30 minutes, but I didn't really sleep before my Bible study. And grab it real quick and then we'll end. I started doing the 2019 calendar blanket with Jada and Stitches. And I have all the appliques done and made. I made them as she put them out. I just didn't get them on the blanket, and I don't have the border on it yet. But this is the start of it. So I have the sun and the trees on there, but that's all I have on there, and this is the rest of it. So, So let me show it to you again then, because you may not have seen it. So this is the 2019 calendar blanket that I was working on with Jada and Stitches. And I have all the appliques made. I did them with her as she made them. I just haven't gotten them all on the blanket, and I don't have the border on it. And here's the bottom. So I have to finish getting the appliques on. There's like a barn and a tractor and mushrooms and flowers and houses. Oh my gosh, those houses were so much fun to make. Some of them even have window boxes with little rosebud flowers in them. They're so detailed, and the doors on the houses. Oh, it was just so much fun. So I'm hoping to get that finished. So technically I have done one cow, and it was this one, although I just didn't quite finish it as a crochet along. So anyway, all right. Well, I hope everyone has a great night. Thank you again for coming out to Cup to Hook movie night. And I look forward to next week. We will be doing, hey, Sylvia, how are you? Everyone, please tell Sylvia hello. Sylvia is an amazing lady. Let me just tell you, this woman is a true inspiration to me. She is legally blind and she crochets. So the next time I get frustrated over a project and have to frog something, I am literally watching my attitude, because if this woman can crochet, well, then this woman can certainly not complain about having to frog something. So I love you to death, Sylvia. But anyway, so next week we will come back and we will look at episode 8 and 9. And if you guys want, those of you that are still on here, I will be mentioning it next week. And I'm going to quickly grab my calendar book, because there is one Friday coming up that we will not be able to meet. And that is because the Women of Joy conference that I go to every year, it is always the first weekend in May in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And due to COVID, they had to postpone it. And so they postponed it, and I'm now going to Tennessee. We've always gone to the Myrtle Beach conference. So I'm really excited about going to Tennessee, because as I shared in Cup to Hook Conversations, my husband and I do a lot of vacationing in Tennessee, because that is actually where we plan on retiring. And so anyway, that makeup conference is going to be in Tennessee, and it is the weekend of the 9th, 10th, and 11th. And I will have to start traveling early on that Friday morning. And usually we don't get out of the conference on Friday night until like 10 p.m. So, but yes, Jen, we will not miss the Fun Day Monday, though. It will still go out. We'll just miss the Cup to Hook movie night. So if you want to mark your calendars, October 9th, and again, I plan on mentioning that next week. And then I'll mention it again on the following Friday, which is October 2nd. So we have 2 more weeks before that happens. So, but anyway, and so we'll be in season 2 by the time that happens. Oh, I gotcha. Because we're missing a week. Well, we'll still have the Fun Day Monday, though. So you'll still have the same I can't think. I'm so tired. Like I said, at this point, I've now been up, oh my gosh, probably close to 40 hours. We won't be missing rows and stitches. That will still take place. We'll just be missing our movie night. But I know what you're saying, Jen. I'm going to teach you patience, my friend. And pray you still love me at the end. So, Can I make the Longmire blanket in the Premier? Sorry, the Premier yarn ever stop yard ever. Wait a minute. I didn't understand that, Sylvia. Can I make the Longmire blanket in the Premier? Sorry, the Premier yarn Everest. I'm not quite grasping what you said, Sylvia. So, Sylvia, on the Longmire Premier video, I know that one is difficult for you. That one that goes out on Wednesday night for the Longmire, that, love, is just simply a reminder to remind people that from Wednesday night to Friday night that we are meeting on Friday nights for our movie Q&A. So it's just strictly a reminder video. I know it's all music for you, but it is simply just reminding them that Friday night is coming, 2 nights away, and hopefully we'll see them there. And then all I'm doing in that video is literally showing a picture clip of the episode. Excuse me. So for example, like we just did 6 and 7 tonight, and we'll be doing 8 and 9 next week. In that premiere video, it just shows a picture clip showing that episode 6 is this, and like tonight, it said something about Hunter. I forgot the title already. Again, I'm so tired. It showed a picture of episode 6, and then it said episode 6, the worst kind of hunter. And then there was a picture for episode 7, and it said 8 seconds, episode 7. So that's all that Longmire premiere video is. And so you are honestly not missing anything. It's just, again, a reminder. And Jen and I, that was something Jen and I had talked about doing so that we could try and get more people to come join us on Friday nights, because it's so much more fun when you have more people and have more people answering questions. Not that I certainly mind the same people answering answering all the questions, but I'm sure that they would appreciate more people so they can actually answer questions and crochet. But if they're the only one answering questions, all they can do is answer questions and they can't crochet. So now I would have crocheted tonight if I weren't trying to eat, but anyway. So, all right. So yes, Jen, thank you for answering that. Yes, you can use any. Oh, I see. Oh, I see, Sylvia. Thank you, Jen, for clarifying that. You're asking if you can use the Premier yarn. Yes, yes, you can use any yarn brand you want. The only thing that I had suggested, excuse me, was that you try to stay as close to the same yarn weight so that the yarns are not, pulling each other in, or, if it's too bulky compared to the rest of the yarn, that it's not creating a kind of loose stitch. And like Jen mentioned earlier, you could take 2 different colors of a yarn weight, of a 2 yarn weight, to equal the 4 yarn weight, if that makes any sense. Because most of the acrylic Red Heart yarns are medium 4 weight. So you could take a 2 weight yarn and double it up with another 2 weight yarn to equal your 4 weight, and kind of give it like a variegated look, which would be just absolutely beautiful. Stunning, stunning, stunning. So thank you, Jen, for helping clear that up for me. So yes, you can use any brand of yarn. It doesn't have to be Red Heart, and it doesn't have to be colors I've picked. Pick your own 12 colors. So thank you, Jen, for clarifying that and answering Sylvia's question, because I immediately went to the premiere video. So Sylvia, I apologize for my misunderstanding. All right. Well, if no one has any other questions or thoughts or concerns about the blanket or our movie night, then we are going to say good night. And I don't see any more comments coming in, so. All right. I will tell y'all here, I don't think unless y'all really, really liked it and found it helpful, I am probably not going to keep sending out like the scheduled video of all the videos going on. Because I am trying to somewhat free up some of my time from all the video making to being able to do some personal crocheting myself. So especially with a new grandbaby coming, there's things that I want to try and make. I want to make up some sweater sets. I want to make a cocoon. I want to create my own sea pillow that my daughter-in-law Angel can use to help, breastfeed or, prop the baby up on the floor with. I want to create another one of those activity blankets like I had done for a girlfriend where the toys were Velcro strapped to the blanket so the baby could play with them, but they're not loose and getting lost. I want to create some gowns and some clothing and whatnot. So, and of course, it's hard to do that when you don't have free time. So, and not to mention, there's a couple things I want to make for myself. Like, well, thank you, Jen. I appreciate that. I know at one time someone had made a comment, about what day certain videos came out and said that's why I started doing that. But I'm also beginning to think that might be some of the reason too that I've lost some subscribers, is because it might make me look pushy. So, because I've lost 9 subscribers in 1 week, and so don't think it's anything about me. I'm just thinking maybe it's about a lack of interest in my content. So. I would think so, Sylvia. Oh my gosh, your blanket will be to die for if you use that, though. Because they have some beautiful, beautiful colors, and it's so soft. So yes, I don't see why you couldn't. Again, you just want to make sure that your yarn weight is very close with the other yarn weight that you're using. So, all right, ladies, have a great night. Thank you again. I love all your suggestions. I love all your input, your feedback. And if you haven't done so already, Jen, I know you have, please be sure and put your vote in for the pattern on the Crochet Society box between the butterfly wall hanging, and the baby romper, because the votes will end next Friday. And then I will start working on whatever project y'all choose. So, all right, my friends, be good, be joyful, stay crafty in your own way, make your own joyful creations this week, and go find the joy in every day. Love you. Bye.